All right, guys. So, since you guys love shopping so much, and we're gonna be going into 2025, guess what we not gonna do in 2025? We not gonna go in out of this year into that year with growing nothing. Meaning, you're gonna buy something that's actually meaningful. You gonna go back to school. You gonna take a course, not necessarily a school course, but like a business course. You're gonna read a book. You're gonna I don't know, watch YouTube University and learn a new skill. Like, if you're not growing, you're dying. And that's just the truth. No, nothing stays the same. If you're not growing, you're dying. You're literally reverting back. You're not learning nothing. The world is passing you by and you're not getting anywhere. If you just been doing the same thing day in, day out, and you just ready to elevate, grow, do some different things, guess what I have for you? All right, let me show you really quick. This right here, girl Get Up and Move book. This right here is a book that I co-authored in, me and 20 plus other co-authors. So this book right here, Girl Get Up and Move, it was compiled by Renette Upson Bush. That's my girl. Anyway, so this book right here really goes over like some of the struggles that we've had, the trauma that we had to overcome, and how we had to realize that eventually you can be a victim for a little bit, but at some point you gotta get up and move. You can't stay there. You can't keep being a victim. You can't keep pointing the finger at everybody else. Everybody else cannot always be the problem. Guess what happens when everybody else is always the problem? You don't get anywhere. Why? Because now when somebody else's fault for why you are where you're at, then you don't have any more power left. Now the power lies in the people that you keep blaming for why you can't move. So here you go, girl. Girl Get Up and Move. This book right here is going to really help you. Like and the people in here, I think there's a guy or two that co-authored as well. But we all wrote about our tragedies, the things we had to go through, and the steps that we took to be able to overcome. But it's not just a read, though. It's not just a read. So there's an area in here where you can take notes as you're reading. And then there's also like some questions here that she has after each chapter. So you'll be able to really actually interact with the book, which that's the best books for me. Like if I'm able to interact with the book, if I'm able to like not just read it, take notes, highlight it. I ain't gotta do nothing extra in another notepad. I can do it right in my book and then ask the questions because the questions are thought-provoking. They'll be having you thinking like, let me answer this question. So one of the questions that I want you to answer, I'm actually going to go to the very first one at the beginning because I thought it was really just the beginning questions right at the front. It says, what excuses do you need to let go of and move on from? What? Go ahead and answer that question. What excuses have you been making on why you ain't bought this book yet? What excuses have you been making why you have not moved into the position that you said you wanted to be in? What excuses have you made on why you said you wanted to be better in relationships and still doing the same thing? What excuses have you been making that you just been lacking? You just been settling in life. You just been, I'm gonna do it one day. I'm gonna do it one day. I'm gonna do it one day. And here goes 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. And you still keep saying the same thing you were saying back then. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get therapy. I'm gonna do the things. And yet you ain't done it yet. What's your excuse? That's gonna be the things you're gonna write down. The next question on here is, what has God told you to do that you aren't doing? What has God told you to do that you aren't doing? That's just two questions. You see how this book is? There is multiple questions in here that has you to get you to start thinking. The best way to start living and really becoming the best version of yourself, which is the God version of yourself, is to be aware of where you're drawing back from, aware of how you're showing up, aware of how you've made your mistake. I don't want to say mistakes. How do I want to word this? Holy Spirit, give me the words. You've made your bad habits as if they are your character, and they're not who you are. That's just what you've been doing for so long that it's just become habit. But guess what? You can change. But you do have to get up. You can't just sit there. All right. This is book number 1. This is for the beginners who's ready to just start changing. Okay. And then, baby, we got book number 2. I co-authored this one. Oh, first off, before we get to book number 2, in this one right here, Girl Get Up and Move, my title is Through the Fire. Ain't that fire? Okay. This one right here, Courageous Enough to Launch. I did this one with Dr. Cheryl Wood. If you guys don't know her, she's a world-renowned speaker and motivational speaker. I did this book with 40 plus women. So this right here is women who are in business, or they're either in business or they're at the top of the chain when it comes to like their professionalism in corporate America. So in here, we talk about how we had to have the courage to go after the big dream. I had to have courage to go after, my ministry, and also to be a confidence coach and vulnerability coach. I had to not look at where I came from and focus on where God was taking me. But that took courage. Most people talk. I'm going to do this one day. It sound good. I'm going to be this. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to take the course. I'm going to get therapy. I'm going to get relational therapy because I've been showing up as a liar and a cheater and sneaky in my relationship. But I'm going to do better. But yeah, you're not doing nothing, right? It takes courage to really go after the things that you want to go after. It takes courage to become a new thing. It takes courage to really get up and fight for the thing that you say you want to be, to make your life better. Because at the end of the day, when you have courage to move, when you're a risk taker, when you're like, I don't care what this takes, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. That was my mindset. When I left Minnesota, I was living in Minnesota for 7 years. I was living in I was in Minnesota for 7 years. I did not know where I wanted to go. I had 35 days to make a decision. Once I got down to 30 days, I was like, Lord, okay, I'm getting nervous. I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know if I'm gonna get another place here. If I'm gonna go, like, where you want me to go? Because I need to know. Okay. Eventually, literally, this is what I did. I'm giving you the cheat code of what I did. So before I moved to Florida, I prayed. I got in the secret place. Like, so if you're struggling and you don't know where to go, get in the secret place. So I got in the secret place and I asked God, I was like, Lord, listen, like, I don't know where you want me to go. I had applied at 2 places and I got denied in Minnesota. And it was crazy because I had a good job working as a legal assistant, paralegal. I had fairly decent credit, but I was getting denied and I was so confused. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And there, it wasn't the whole, you had to make 2.5 times, 3 times the rent and all that. They didn't have all that expenses like that back then in 2018. And so I got in the secret place and I was like, Lord, where do you want me to go? Because I don't know where you want me to do. I applied at 2 different places. I've gotten denied at both of these places. And I was so certain that these 2 places would have been easy enough for me to get in. And so when I sat there in silence, I heard the Lord say, Florida. So I was like, all right, Lord, if that's where you want me to go, then you're going to have to make a way out of no way, because I got 30 days to leave this place. I had a 3-bedroom apartment at that time, fully furnished and everything. So I'm like, I'm either you're going to have to provide me with all the funds I need to travel from Minnesota to Florida, which was, man, I can't even remember how many hours it was. 24? I think it was a 26 hour trip. So I'm like, you're gonna have to provide me with the funds to be able to travel that far in a U-Haul with a 3-bedroom home, or B, give me other options, right? So basically what I end up doing is selling pretty much every single thing I sold, everything I sold. My bed set, I sold everything I had. It was a little upsetting to have to get rid of all of my stuff, but it was like, do I care more about this stuff, or do I care more about going where God wanted me to go? And I cared more about where God wanted me to go. Most people, that would be a risk taker, right? That is a risk taker. What I meant to say is what most people would have done was like, no, I'm not doing all that. It's only 30 days. Give me some time. I got to save up ample amount of money. I got to do like you would have had all the excuses on why you couldn't move and why you couldn't go. That's those people, y'all who be doing all that. That's why God can't move in you, because God needs you to be able to trust him and not trust what you think is the right thing. I put my trust and faith in God at that moment. And here I am now. Been here in Florida for 6 years, doing well, in a 3-bedroom house, and we doing the thing, okay? Because that's what happens when you have courage, when you're courageous enough to launch, when you're courageous enough to just go. Like, I gotta go. Now, I'm not saying just be stupid. I'm not saying that. So what I am saying is that if God is telling you to do something, that means he's going to make a way. So let me just say, I told you I sold all of my stuff, which means I had money. I didn't just get up and leave and not have nothing. I had money. I had a medical assistant degree, and I also had a paralegal degree. So what I told myself was, wherever God taking me to Florida, it should be fairly easy to find a job in both of these, because there's plenty of lawyers here. And medical field, they all over the place. So I knew that when I got here, it would have been easy for me to find a job. Lo and behold, I ended up finding 2 jobs when I got here. Neither one of them in either one of those fields. Actually, I lied. I was a paralegal for 4 months when I first got here as a real estate paralegal, and I didn't like it. It was not my thing. I was doing evictions and stuff. I just didn't feel good about it. So I ended up quitting there, and I started working somewhere else. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm telling y'all my business. But what I'm saying is, while you out here getting clothes, while you out here trying to get Gucci and Chanel purses, while you out here trying to get tougher bags, how about get a book so you can read and finally do something different, so then you ain't got to depend on nobody else to be taking care of you. Ladies, you can do it yourself. And fellas, you can also read this book, because like I said, just because we're women, this book, is there any men in here? Okay. All right, guys, this one only got women, but this one got some men in there. This one does. Even though it's called Girl Get Up and Move, there is men that wrote in this book as well. So you can either go to the Girl Get Up and Move, or you can get courageous enough to launch if you're ready to launch and do something different. Both of these right here are going to be on my merch website. So I'm going to put the link on so you can guys go get it from my merch website. You can get one or the other, get both. Hey, give a gift to somebody. Listen, maybe you don't need one of these. Maybe you listen, having courage, I got it. When I gotta take risk, it's easy for me. But I'm sure you know somebody in your life that's just been stuck and stagnant, ain't moving, that can really use this book. It's a great gift for someone. Same thing right here. Girl Get Up and Move. One of them girls that been in a relationship for a long time and the relationship is over, or you know she need to leave it. Or maybe that she has other potential to be able to do something else, and she just don't have the confidence to do it. So if it ain't you, it's a perfect gift for somebody else. So Girl Get Up and Move, or Courageous Enough to Launch. You can only get these from my website. Okay. So I'm going to put my website link on there. Click on my link, and then you can get the books from there. And then guess what? I ship them out to you personally. Okay. They come personally from me, which means every book has my personal signature in there. I actually physically sign the books. It ain't no what's those things called? Like the little sticker things that they be putting in there that's not really their signature. Like they only got to sign it one time and then that's it. No, you're going to see some pen, handwritten, blue or black, written in there for you. I personally signed them. Okay, so one of these books or both of these books need to be yours. We're not just buying Telfar bags. We're not just doing trips. We're not just feeding our flesh. We're going to start feeding our spirit and our soul so that we can finally start doing something different. Okay? All right? Okay. I'm out now.